we have just gone through a discussion, just to brief you, we've just gone through a discussion for about 45 minutes. The other thing that is very important is to be able to rescue and restore this child who has gotten married early. I mean, if you're 8, you're in P3 at best, probably haven't started school.
And I hope this kind of thing, child marriage, would never happen to anyone in my family, but of course it wouldn't happen to anyone in my community or in my country at all. That is what we'd like to see. I do have So we are launching today the Civil Society End Child Marriage campaign, and the theme is Act Now, End Child Marriage. And you as the media have a major role to play. You can play a much bigger role than any of us can play by getting this message out to so many more people. I have an issue with, first of all, this being called a marriage. I have always had an issue with it being called a marriage. You know, this little girl who is below the age of marriage, and we still call it a marriage. So I think that should be something.
The youngest they have ever gotten a child who's pregnant was 9 years. Yeah, and I love the report that you've just said to us when you say that you've done a study and you found that children as early as the age of 8 are having sex, and 70% of them had received sex education. So it's very important to ask ourselves, what messages are we not sending forward? What is it that's creating this gap between what we are saying and what the parent or the child is hearing, and therefore how it is affecting their behavior? Now, unfortunately, I'm standing before you and I do not have answers. But the point is that our children are becoming more sexualized, and the bigger majority of them are choosing to have sex, not necessarily raped, that they are choosing to have sex. Of course, we know that when you're looking at a child under the age of 18, you say they have no consent. So it's a bit of a fallacy for me to stand here and say they chose.
So I think there has to be something like maybe teaching these people, when we go to their families, we even teach them how to lock the TVs, to lock some channels, and how to open them and at which time. And we find that we have this campaign. Parents don't have time for these kids. They leave in the morning and come in the evening. So we are always telling them, create time for your kids. We are always telling them, try. In the holidays, they send them to the villages. They keep sending them to the villages, go to your auntie, go to your grandmother, of which this grandmother is tired. For example, there's a lady who said she went to the village and she will come back at the end of that. This is the kid who is registered with us. When we went to the village and asked the grandmother, she was like, at night.
Child marriage infringes on the rights of children by denying them access to education, good health, and freedom. Despite the prohibition